On the island of Newfoundland, upon the southwest coast, lies the little town of Burgeo, to whom I'll sing this toast. There are so many highlands that lie just off her shore, and when the cold north wind blows, you can hear the billows roar. The people from the village make their living from the sea. They like their independence, it shows that they are free. Some fish in their small boats in the wind, the rain and sleet, while others make their living on the offshore trawler fleet. They've known their share of tragedies down through the years, and when the memories overcome, they show their grief with tears. For they have lost some loved ones to the furies of the seas, for heartaches and heartbreaks are locked in memories. This village, it's got beauty carved on its rugged shore. 7 miles of pure white sand, who could ask for more? The mountains and the valleys where the rivers run so fast, and the salmon rise to the sportsman's fly as he makes another cast. Now the people of this village love their native home, for anyone who goes away most surely will return. Just like that lifelong mystery, the answer you won't know. What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul? What makes this rugged village burn so deeply in your soul?
Good evening, and welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight in our stories we have more from Student Appreciation Week, Burgeo Academy quilt, BBS update. Please stay tuned for these stories after this. Try your luck and play TV Bingo sponsored by Burgeo Academy. Cards are 6 for $5 and can be bought from any student from Burgeo Academy or in most stores around town. During the assembly for Student Appreciation Week, some awards were presented to winners of contests that some of the students had entered.
We had some students who put names in and they did some poster contests, and our students did very well. For the National Engineering and Geoscience Week, for the poster contest, won 3rd place, Julie Pink. And by the way, that's 3rd place in the entire province, so that's an excellent job. And for the same contest, winning 2nd place in grade 3, Lindsay Smith. Good job to those girls. Next, we had the Canada Poster Challenge contest. And again, this is a contest for students ages 5 to 8. And again, for the province, we had an honorable mention to Sheridan Sibley. And with the singing contest, and a first place winner in all of Newfoundland, I believe she had a trip over east to St. John's for it, Julie Pink. And I believe Julie's poster is up in front of the office. So let's give those girls a big round of applause. Excellent job. One more award before we get to the birthday gifts or whatnot that was usually give out. Earlier this year, the grade 6 class entered the Rotary Club in Steveville an essay contest, and I found out 2 days ago that we had one student in the grade 6 class who tied for third, and that was Cameron Courtney.
A quilt was made during Student Appreciation Week. This quilt was done by the teachers, where they had written something nice about each student. If you would like to read some of it, the quilt is hung up in the school near the gym. This week's video is a part taken from the Grand Brit 2007 Come On Mirror video.
I pondered on those days gone by as I sat beside the mill and gazed upon the setting sun as it sank beneath the hill. I gazed on it once more, me boys, was the very sight I've seen. Well, it's just the same now as it was when we were sweet 16. Oh, how I long for those bright days to come again once more. But come again they never will, for now I'm 64. I went a little further on as up the hill I walked. I sat down on that very spot where we oftentimes sat and talked. We talked about those happy days, so blissful and serene. We talked about those happy days when we were sweet 16. Oh, how I long for those bright days to come again once more. But come again they never will, for now I'm 64. Well, the past is past and she's gone. On earth we'll meet no more. Ah, but we will meet in heaven above on that eternal shore. And when we meet we'll part no more. We both will reign supreme. No more to sing days gone by when we were sweet 16. Oh, how I long for those bright days to come again once more. But come again they never will, for now I'm 64. such peace and tranquility, just to walk upon her road and listen to her people as the news of the world is told. You'll always find a welcome, her greetings you won't forget. That little part of heaven, the town we call Grand Bridge. Their way of life is different, it's the way her people like. No cars upon her roads, just paddle bikes and trikes. And when the day is over and you want to make a friend, take a little stroll up to the Cramblot Inn, where the door is always open by night and by day. And like Joe Billard says, no one gets turned away. You'll always find a welcome, her greetings you won't forget. That little part of heaven, the tiny town of Grand Bridge. That little part of heaven, the town I won't forget.
President of the Burgeo Broadcasting System came by to talk with me about the internet and cable updates. Tonight in our studios, we have our president of the BBS, Mr. George Reed. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So you're here to give us an update on the Burgeo Broadcasting System?
Yes, I'll give you a rundown on what we've basically done, because everyone knew we were having major troubles for a long while, and we went and got a major upgrade done up for it, and of course then we went and employed people to do it with the help of Dave and Claude, and we eventually got it all done now. Basically, it's up to the point now where we, with the budget that we got, we basically can't do anything else with it except probably to put a few more radios in a tower. And in fact, we can't put any more in a tower that's in the Muddy O area. That tower has got enough radios in it. If any more radios go in, it will just interfere with each other. Okay. So that tower is full. I think we can put a few more radios in the Fox Farm tower. Okay. So if we keep getting more people, of course, that loads up the radios, and what Dave has to do, he's got to try to keep the radios balanced out. Because the minute you get to overload on a radio, then the system starts to go on that particular radio to customers' signals. Well, their speed will go down, quite a bit, reduces quite a bit. So, other than the fact of putting in probably a radio or two up in Fox Farm, as we get new customers, the upgrade is finished.
Okay.
Now, that might not be to the satisfaction of everyone, because it's hard to give everyone a perfect system here, or even probably even the part that they would like to have. Our biggest mistake when we did this, we called it high-speed internet. We should never have called it high-speed internet. We should just simply said that we were going to hopefully improve the internet to be better than dial-up. Okay. Now whether that came out, whether that would be once, twice, 3 times, 10 times the speed of dial-up, would have taken this course. Mm-hmm. We call it high speed, of course, and a lot of people were familiar with high speed in other places, and high speed in St. John's and high speed in Toronto is high speed. I mean, it's something that moves pretty fast. Now, when we called our system high speed, we didn't know what we were talking about, and I think basically it's gotten us in a lot of trouble because the customer's expectations then, was that it was going to be as good as St. John's or as good as Toronto, and that's not the case. It's better than dial up, but it's definitely not high speed. So we made a big mistake there. Of course, we were all new at this. Neither one of us knew any more than any other people at it, and we just knew it was going to be, or we were told that it was going to be fairly fast, so we stuck the word high speed on it. I should never have done it, we should never have done it. But nevertheless, for the South Coast, for here in Burgeo, and for what we're doing, Burgeo, Ramia, Grey River, Francois, Grambret, all of that has to go to Rose Blanche by wireless, and with the budget that we have now, we're probably doing as best that we're going to get. There's no mistake about that. If we had an unlimited budget, we could put in better radios and probably better support systems for power. Right now, for example, we got a little 4x4 house out on Francois Point, up on the point, up over the lighthouse there, and on that we got 4 solar panels and a wind charger. And it was only 2 weeks ago one of the solar panels gave up. So they had some downtime. And then in Grey River, up on the high hill going into the Grey River on the eastern side, going in through there, up on top of that hill, we got another 4x4 shack that we got all our equipment in. And there we got 4 solar panels and a wind generator. And of course, this is all pretty new stuff that for running this type of operation. Very, very new. In fact, I would vouch to say we're probably the only ones in Newfoundland, and you probably would have to go a long ways to see anyone else using the gear that we're using to supply internet to such isolated places. For example, Focal, for example, they got no internet. In fact, they have contacted Dave to see if BBS could come down and install it down there, if that they can get all their T's crossed and their I's dotted. So outside of Burgeo, Dave and Claude have done a fair number of projects. Their names, Dave and Claude, they're very, very good. They're as good as anything around here, to tell you. And they've done a number of projects in the mine. They've done the mine, Aurora Mine, there in down in Millertown. They've done. They got a contract to do Corner Brook, and they did a farm there in Codry Valley, and Focal has been talking to them. Gander's been talking to them. They did Helen Fisheries down in Benmore's Cove, wherever they do it down there, down in Curling, that area. I can't remember all of them, but they've done quite a few projects, and they've been in touch with a number of other people for doing projects of this nature, wireless projects. So the boys are becoming, I guess you would call it experts in their field, to tell you the truth. But the most difficult one is the Burgeo one, because we have so much water to go over. We have so much water, and the topography of the land is something you can just get one place you must put it in order to be able to see through the valleys and that, in order to get the signals right. So it's a challenge.
Yes.
Very much a challenge. And so I would have to say to everyone that the update is done probably to the best of our ability. If they're still having trouble, then they should call Dave. Cause if you don't call him, he won't know. And so therefore you have to call him. And there are places in Burgeo that probably won't be able to get it, because if you can't see the tower, you have to see the tower in order to be able to get the signal. Now, I think if we got enough customers, I think we've done a couple of places where we've taken a radio and put on someone else's house, and that radio then rebroadcasted to other houses. But you can't do that for one customer because the expense is too great. Because you had to buy a full radio in order to do it, and a big radio in order to do it. So if you got, I'm not sure, I think we have a policy on it, if there's 4 or more or 6 or more, something like that, the customers that are in an isolated area. And if we can get an area to put a radio, because every radio you put up needs, it's got to have power, then we can rebroadcast to isolated customers. But there might be people who can't get it, that would be very unfortunate.
Okay.
Yeah. Would also like to say something about people who got the internet, got computers, and especially people who got unsecure routers.
Yes. Okay.
Because if your router is unsecure, and I'm not talking as if I know what I'm talking about. I'm only talking about exactly what Dave told me. That if your router is unsecure, in other words, if you don't have a password put into it that you have to put in order to get into it, then you are opening yourself up to anyone in your area, any one of your neighbors, or anyone that drives along by the road can get into your system.
Yes.
And they can get in your system, they can use your internet to run their own laptops. And not only that, they're very, very good at it. They can also get into your files.
Yes.
It's very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. If somebody come out from Corner Brook in a van with a laptop and pick up your signal, get into your system. They tell me then they can go on into Corner Brook or Timbuktu, wherever they're going to go, and then they can use that to hack into your private information.
Oh, yes, why?
So, and how that works, don't ask me, but that's all I've been told. So anyone who's got unsecure routers, for goodness sake, get them done now. The other thing about it, if you got unsecure routers and your neighbor, he doesn't have internet, but he's got a computer. I don't know why you would ever have an internet without a computer. Don't ask me that either, because I don't know where that. But if you got a computer and if you haven't if you're not hooked up from BBS, you can get into your neighbor's system. And what it is, of course, is like saying if you got water running through a 1/2-inch line, and if somebody, you're having a shower and somebody taps into it, of course you're not going to get the same amount of water, are you?
No, that's right.
And that's the same thing. So if you got your radio's capped at, I think, 600 kbs, that's your download is tapped at 600. I think that's what I'm told. 600 download is, and you got 128 kbs upload. And if somebody taps into your system, then they're going to draw away some of your pipe. You're going to slow down. So that's 2 big reasons why you should have, if you got routers, you should have them secure with a pass. And I think that what I suppose I'm not sure if I mentioned to you that the upgrade that we did cost us between 95 to 100,000. That was the money that we put into it. all paid for by the money that this company had made over the number of years we've been operating. And so it's a very costly thing. And that's about what I got to say about the internet, I think. The other thing I tell you about is that the board of directors in their last meeting have voted to add some new channels to for the people. And the new channels are going to be a comedy channel, a food network, a home and garden channel, and another channel called Wild TV. I think that's wildlife.
Okay.
And a channel for the kids is called Trios.
Trios.
Yeah. So all of these 5 channels will be on your television, hopefully by the end of May.
Okay.
Okay. Perhaps it'd be on the safe side. I'll say middle of June, but Claude tells me hopefully by the end of May. And now, of course, if it's not there, don't bother phoning me because it'll be there as soon as we can get it there. Okay. And the other thing is that these 5 channels will be put on free.
Okay.
It won't cost the customer anything. The cost of putting them on is approximately $5,000.
Okay.
And the cost of the yearly cost to pay for that signal will be probably around $7,200.
Okay.
But we're going to put them on free. Now, the other thing I might add to you, this year, the cable system is running a deficit of around $6,600. So you might ask, how can you put on new channels costing that kind of money with a deficit on the cable system? Well, this system that we got here, the cable system, the television system, and the internet system, both conjointly. Now, the cable system is a non-profit company. The internet system is a profit company. Okay, it's called BBS Wireless. Now, that's a profit company. So there's 2 different companies.
Okay.
So the money that the internet makes is given to the BBS system, the cable system, the television system. So I mean, it's all the same, but for legality's sake, we had to split them in 2.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, it just comes under one umbrella. So therefore, we're taking the money that we're keeping the cable system, as cheap as we can. Of course, we're keeping the internet as cheap as we can, also. But with the internet, we'll eventually make some money. And between the 2, we'll improve the internet, which we tried to do, of course, and hopefully we'll improve the TV system. There's another thing that Dave and Claude are doing these projects, so we make money on these projects. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as you know, I've been in business long enough to know that I'm not going to ask Dave and Claude to do something that we're not going to make no money on. So whenever we get Dave and Claude to do these projects, we make money out. BBS makes money. Now the boys are very, very good. They travels all over the island. I got to say that, and they'll take on a project just about anywhere. So when they go somewhere, they'll make money, and the money that we made on these projects, that's the money that we're taking to put on these new channels.
Okay.
But as the years go on, hopefully the internet will be making more and more money, and so we should be able to keep the cable system to bare minimum. In fact, it's a little bit too low now because we should be running a balanced budget on the cable side also. But you know, one's paying off the other, one's helping the other. And I suppose what I gotta say is that the people are the beneficiaries of the system. So, coming into May, I hope you'll enjoy the new channels.
Yes, very nice.
And I do hope that the people who are on the internet enjoys the upgrade we've done. And I like to take back that word, high speed. Simply, we'll do the best we can with the speed. You know.
Very good. Well, thank you for the update.
No, you're kindly welcome.
This concludes our programming for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.